Autobots assemble! Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome back to another ranking. And today we are going to be ranking all 5 Michael Bay Transformers movies from 2007 to 2017. Of course, none of these Transformers movies are timeless, though I do have a soft spot for at least 2 of them. But the others are pieces of manure that should never be seen. Yeah, this is gonna be an easy ranking for me, and I was love and be really interested to hear your list in the comments below. So without further ado, let's start with my least favourite and work my way up to my favourite. Number 5 at the bottom, Transformers The Last Night, or The Last Fuck You, or The Last Straw is what it could be called for all I care. Are you even surprised? Fuck this movie. If you could even call it that, it had no right to be made. Michael Bay didn't even try with this one. He just made the exact same movie for the 5th time in a row. And it's shameful that this trash came out 10 years, a decade after the first Transformers, which was actually good. And had effort put into it. What effort did this garbage have in it? The plot is a complete repeat of the first 4. The movie focuses well, of course, on the human characters and barely includes the Transformers or Cybertron, which is what we actually expect to see. Mark Wahlberg is still bland, his daughter wasn't even included in it, and the whole plot twist with Laura being the ancestor of Merlin was so dumb, and the plot twist with Mark Wahlberg being the last night, that is one of the worst fucking plot twists ever written for a movie. Babies are better writers than the writers of this movie. The action bored the crap out of me. It is some of the worst action since Resident Evil, the final chapter. Yeah, pretty bad, right? The effects look like shit. It just makes you want to puke, and the movie might be one of the shorter Transformers movies, yet it astonishingly feels like the longest. Optimus Prime gets like 20 minutes of screen time, if that, and the whole thing with him turning evil was completely glossed over way too quickly, and the whole thing of him remembering Bumblebee speak, that's the reason why he magically turns good again. How the fuck did he not remember Bumblebee say his first line of dialogue at the end of the original film? Thankfully, I have heard the movie's bombing at the US box office. We don't need a fucking Transformers 6. That's the last thing we want after this. I've heard people find this movie okay, and one of the more decent Transformers movies. I know my buddy Ollie Pajak, he actually thought it was alright. He actually ranked it as his second favourite. While I obviously respect your opinion, buddy, I've got to disagree with you on this one, but that's fine. Just please, guys, never see The Last Night. It's just not worth it. It will give you pain, and I'm glad to declare it the worst of the 5 Transformers movies. At number 2, my second least favourite, Age of Extinction, or as my friends iQuadra 5 calls it, Age of Stinction, or Age of Dogshit. So this movie isn't quite as disastrous as The Last Fuck You, but it's still terrible. It's still one of the worst summer blockbusters of all time. This was the one Transformers movie where Michael Bay was just by now just making them for the money. He actually said Dark of the Moon would be his last, but he completely lied. He also lied that this thing would be the shortest one, but its biggest problem is it's way too fucking long. It's 2 hours 45 minutes, an almost 3-hour Transformers movie. That's crazy. You could at least lost an hour of this movie, and at least it would have been easier to sit through. The Dinobots that were marketed in the trailer show up only in the 3rd act, and do so little that they're hardly worth mentioning. Well, they do even less in Last Fuck You, but the human characters, you give a shit about none of them. Mark Wahlberg, Nicole Pentis, and her fucking annoying boyfriend, and you don't even give a shit about any of the Autobots because their designs look so stupid and retarded. They didn't need to change, and the CGI is of course laughably bad. There's like 10 different final battles going on in the third act that really overstays its welcome to the point where it just bores you to tears, and there's just, like the Last Fuck You, there's no heart or soul or effort to this movie. It's another attempt for Michael Bay to steal your freaking money. How is this Abomination the highest grossing movie of 2014? So is it still awful? Yes, but at least it's somewhat more watchable in comparison to the Last Fuck You. At number 3, in the middle of the movies, the movie that started the whole critics' hate for Transformers, that won Michael Bay many Razzies for Worst Picture and Worst Director, very rightfully so. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. This is actually one of my subscribers, Rachel Wanger's. This is actually her least favourite of the movie. She hates this one, and I totally understand if it is her least favourite. I don't blame her, because it's still such a terrible movie, though I don't think it's quite as shitty as Age of Dog Shit or The Last Fuck You. At least it did give us a badass forest fight, and it did give us a Jeremy Jordan. But I digress, because the rest of it sucks. Michael Bay clearly didn't have a clue what he wanted this movie to be about. It's an absolute mess from start to finish. You have no idea what the fuck's going on. There's far too many and way too many subplots going on. Optimus Prime getting killed off was totally pointless if they just brought him back to life anyway. There's way too many Transformers introduced, and they are all obnoxious and very underused. The Jar Jar Binks like robots, only they are actually worse than Jar Jar Binks. I can't believe I said that. Voiced by Tom Kenny, voice of SpongeBob. Only here for comic relief, no other reason. The humour, as some of the most pitiful attempts of humour I've seen in any blockbuster period. Just the Decepticon humping Megan Fox's leg, the dogs having sex, just the girl Transformer that tries to fuck Sam. The parents will get on your nerves to no end. The Fallen is one of the lamest excuses for a villain I have seen in a long time. The CGI is again really poor. It's way too long. Michael Bay actually admitted it was crap, which he was right. At least he tried to make the third movie an improvement, which he did, but then he went fucking back on his apology by making 4 and 5. But on a positive note, that was the last Transformers movie that I hate, thank God. We can breathe. Now we come to the Transformers movies, the only 2 that are actually good in my opinion. At number 2, the second best in the series in my personal opinion, Dark of the Moon. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this movie as much as I did at all, especially after the awful Revenge of the Fallen. There's evidence that Michael Bay is more than capable of making a decent movie when he puts his mind to it. If only he tried this hard all the time, maybe that would save his reputation as a filmmaker, because I never want him to be a director again after The Last Fuck You. He should just stick to visuals, because he ain't the best storyteller. That being said, the story in Dark of the Moon is shockingly coherent and actually interesting. It focuses much more on the backstory of the war for Cybertron, which is actually what fans came to see, which is so refreshing. Yeah, it's hard to believe Aaron Kruger, screenwriter of Revenge of the Fallen, was involved in this script. I loved the opening on Cybertron, and Leonard Nimoy kick-ass as Optimus Prime, and his relationship with Optimus was actually compelling, and the final battle in Chicago, while it could have been trimmed down slightly, is fucking awesome, and one of the most epic and satisfying action scenes in the entire franchise, if not the most. And considering it's called Dark of the Moon, it is legitimately the darkest of the 5 movies. Just Autobots that actually die here. Ionide's death was pretty sad, and the soundtrack is one of the best of the series, and Iridescent, the final song by Linkin Park. Thank you guys, you've always given us a brilliant end credit song. Such a shame they didn't return for 4 and 5. I left the end credits of the 5th one. I couldn't take that movie anymore. And though most of the problems from Revenge of the Fallen are taken away with this movie, though the first hour is so badly paced and still contains most of what you hate is in Revenge of the Fallen, but once you make it through that first hour of just a pointless filler of Sam Witwicky's new job in Chicago that you don't give a shit about, after you get through all that, the third act is well worth waiting for. And Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, the Megan Fox replacement, she's pretty good in her acting debut, though I still prefer Megan Fox. So Dark of the Moon, still nowhere near a perfect movie, nor an amazing one, but at least one of the more okay movies in this franchise. It would be number 1, if not, of course, my personal favourite. You've all guessed it by now. At number 1, of course, Michael Bay's first and still his best Transformers movies, the 10-year-old classic summer blockbuster Transformers. I have lots of beloved nostalgia for this movie, being only an 11-year-old kid when it came out in summer 2007, and it blew me away at the time. I wish I could say it's a perfect movie, though it's still not. So the Autobots could have appeared sooner. They don't appear until the second half of the movie, oddly enough, and some of the human characters like John Turturro were pretty unnecessary, but if you overlook those problems and look at this movie optimistically, it's really not that bad. It is really fun and enjoyable. It is some of the best summer entertainment I've ever seen. Yeah, the action is totally rock solid. It's some of the best action scenes in the series. It's just the right size and the right length. Peter Cullen is one of the most underappreciated voice actors ever as Optimus Prime. I actually cared for the Autobots and the human characters here. Sam and his girlfriend Michaela, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox here are actually a likeable couple who form a strong emotional connection with the Autobots. And the movie's the shortest Transformers movie, which is just the perfect length for me. Its simple story works, and its message is actually a powerful one that does get overlooked, that there's more to humans that meets the eye, as Optimus puts. So yeah, this is the best Transformers movie by far. And one more thing, just make a homemade Transformers movie with your toys. That will be the definitive Transformers movie. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this ranking, and what's your ranking of the Transformers franchise? Please comment, let me know, please like this video and subscribe, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and I'll see you next time where I have an enormous amount of summer movie reviews to come. I'll see you then, bye.